Alright, so let's start from Smash the Silence in 2016.
Yes.
Because that was the first time essentially that we met.
Yeah, and even then it wasn't.
It wasn't
like
even a formal kind of
just
thing.
like,
It was just like,
saw
hey,
you and, yeah.
Definitely. So before you guys got to that gig, how did you get to that gig? Before that performance of the Shang, because it was at that time it was the Shang gang. And how did you get to that point of playing there?
I don't know. Like we just got together, obviously as mates and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we just. Actually, Michael and Aiden hadn't even played together.
Yep.
Until that night.
Okay. Because I remember seeing you guys out the back trying to sort
things out. Yeah, we were
out.
trying to work out songs and who was playing what, and it was yeah.
Did you? What songs did you play? Were you playing all covers?
Yeah, literally all covers. There was a Red Hot Chili Peppers one.
Yeah.
There's a couple of sticky ones.
And I believe that these are all also online as well somewhere.
A few of them. There's 3 of them. What is there? There's Juicy
My Gun.
Ones. My Gun. My Gun. Juicy ones. And actually no, a lot of them are online. There's a Love Letter cover. There's.
Yeah, I might try and find them and we'll share them through. We'll share them through this thing.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys performed there, and what was that like being that first performance? What was your thoughts after the gig? Was there actually before the gig? Did you think that there was a possibility for this to do anything more than just this one performance?
Look, I think we all sort of knew that we weren't too bad.
Yep.
So we sort of hoped so, but did we think that anything would? Not that we're stadium-sized band, but anything even close to what we are now would sort of come from it. We just sort of did it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Didn't really think about it much.
Yeah, and I remember that turnout of that night was for the time, I guess.
Wasn't too bad.
Wasn't too bad. There was no real music scene that was kind of going on around at that point. I think, you know, in the last chat that I had with Jake, we spoke about how Fisher's gig was really the only thing that was going on around that time.
And even that didn't kick too hard. That was only.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess then leading from there, what was your next? Do you remember your next? You guys did
The next gig was the Bowler open mic gig where we met you.
Didn't you guys have a little impromptu?
Yeah, the airport bridge in Camden. Everyone was fucking scat.
How many people were at that? Because I didn't go to that. I was going to. How many people were at that?
I'd probably say maxed out about 20 odd,
Yep.
30 odd.
Okay.
Maybe. That was fair. But, yeah, I mean.
And I guess these things just kind of come out of the necessity of not having anywhere to perform.
Yeah, well, we were just like, well, fuck it, we've got a portable amp and a couple of mics and.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, awesome. Definitely. So the next gig was the open mic at Camden Sports Club. And you guys performed one original in that set, and we'll get to that in a second. And that was the time that I came out to that gig wanting to go, hey, I think that you guys are pretty interesting and I want to see what happens. And
interesting.
I think we had you guys had about 60 or 70 people rock up to that gig. I remember. I counted out, and there was about 60 to 70 people at that gig. So that was for your third gig, and having an audience like that.
A couple.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Where did the original? When did that go back to when that first started? Because it now being also, by the way, I don't know if you've seen over the past couple of days, it's just hit 300,000 streams on Spotify. So where did Kiki, I guess, like where did it start? Do you remember that writing session? Do you remember recording?
I remember the writing.
Yeah.
And I remember sending it to the boys. I sort of had the chords and the words, so I pretty much just ditched prelim study, I think.
Yep.
I went to Onslow, just sat in that, you know, where like all the grandstands, like near Woolies, have that little tower thing.
Okay.
I went and hid up out there so no one could come and find me. That being Dad. And I just nutted it out there pretty much after sort of bailing on like my English creative writing piece.
Yep.
And then that pretty much I just use the whole English piece as pretty much the format for the song.
Okay, so yeah, I want to go into the details of the song. Did it come out of the English assignment?
So the English piece was like about a girl, I suppose, and like, you know, not really coping with, I don't know, struggles of being like lonely and all that sort of stuff, being a bit weirder, different, and then resorting to substance abuse, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then pretty much, taking it a bit too far and overcooking it.
Yeah. Performing that, the first time that you guys performed that was the Camden,
the bowler
gig. Did you guys play it at the airport?
No.
No.
I don't think it was done by the airport.
Okay, so
that was pretty sharp transition in terms of
like it was like done like a couple of days before, and then you guys performed it. Really?
Yeah. Well, what I did that night after I wrote it, I sent a demo to the boys, like an iPhone video in the group chat.
Yep.
Then I think Aiden either came over that night or the next night or something like that, and he nutted out this cool as fuck bass line for it. And I was like, shit.
And then we went from talking about, you know, having a chat, and I remember seeing you guys going, I think I want to work with you guys on something, and I really liked the original at the time.
And I could fucking hate it.
And I could see that it connected as well. That was something as well that was interesting. It being, you know, you guys not really having a fan base and people not really being able to listen to it. I know that there was a video of it up online. But then going into the studio during the 6-week holidays, and for me that was the first time that I had ever recorded a song, and for you guys that was the first time that you guys had ever been in a situation like that. What were your thoughts around that time?
It's crazy, man.
About the recording, like
process, or just the actual whole fucking thing.
Yeah, like what were your thoughts on, like, where were you guys at mentality wise with going, hey, you've just been picked up by, you know, at the time, a record label that no one had ever.
We were buzzing, bro. We thought you were Sony. We were like, you know what? We're fucking Oasis now, man.
Yeah, okay.
We can do whatever we want.
I'll take it. I'll take that as a compliment.
A 15, 16-year-old.
Okay, and then so recording, but then I guess that immediate process, what was that like, being in the studio?
It's cool.
As a
band. We were all sort of crazy about it. We were like, oh shit, like, we'd never done anything like it before. Like, I wouldn't have known a microphone if it fucking hit me in the face.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was revved. We were all revved. We were like, you know what? Here we go. The electric drum kit. Favourite part.
Yeah, so that's like the recording of the drums on Kiki, the first version, not the EP version, because that's a completely different version, but the single version is
electric drum kit, DI'd guitars. It's crazy.
Okay, and then where did you guys expect it to go? Because I remember as well the Friday that it came out. Do you remember that Friday?
Yeah.
And what was kind of going through your head as it, I guess, began climbing up the charts?
Took a bit of flight. I don't know. Aiden and I were sort of sitting half near each other, sort of a couple of people away from each other, just checking our phones. And our music teacher was sort of hovering because he knew something was happening.
So you were at school?
Yeah, we were at school.
Okay, right.
It was that Friday. We were at school when it came out. It came out in what, April?
The single came out in February.
February?
End of Feb.
Oh, fuck, there you go. Yeah, we're all sitting in school for some sort of, like, I don't know, year group day.
Yep.
I don't know what it was. And then Aiden and I sort of just looked at each other a little bit. And I was checking my phone, he was checking his phone. And, like, Aiden's music teacher was sort of just, like, peeking his head over his shoulder. And we sort of all looked at each other and were like, oh, shit.
So where was it? Like, well, is this when you had realised it had hit the charts, or...?
This was when it actually got in just the top 100 for, I think it was fucking anything. Might have been
like alternative.
Yeah, I think it might have been scraped like 100 in the alternative charts, and then we were like, holy shit, like that's pretty crazy for a first track. And then it just kept climbing, and we're like, holy shit, like.
Yeah. Do you think that this transition, and this is something that I think we're even dealing with now as a process of, you know, building up a tour, building up the next single release. Do you think that? How do you think that Kiki turned you guys from being a band, how serious people might have taken you before Kiki, and then how serious people took you after Do you think there was a big change, or do you think that it was just...
I think anybody... I don't think it... It would have changed a couple of minds probably. I think if you cared, and if you didn't, you didn't. But the people that did care seemed to be a few more, I suppose, than those who didn't. And yeah, I don't know. Like some people probably like, oh fuck, like these guys aren't actually just a piss take anymore.
Yeah, you kind of started getting taken more seriously, and
a little bit, I suppose. People probably still were like, oh fuck, fluke.
Yeah,
but
I think also to the same degree, you know, both of us being in the situation of, you know, my side of being the record label, your side of being the artist, I think we both can kind of agree to some extent that it was very much
it was
so,
a fluke.
very much so.
We'll admit it. Yeah, we didn't plan for it. We didn't think it was.
Do you think
we
that
thought it was a good song because our first song.
Do you think it now sets an expectation for you guys for your next releases, and it not being as good, like your next release not being as good as Kiki, or
in terms of our expectations of what will happen, in terms of people's expectations of what will happen, in terms of like,
your personal
expectations. Ever since then, I suppose we expect to chart.
Yeah.
Everything we drop or have dropped to date has cracked the top 10.
Yeah, definitely.
So we do sort of expect to.
When do you think that you started taking it seriously?
Still don't.
Fair call. That's always great to hear from a manager and a...
18 years old. Take nothing seriously.
Yeah. I guess when did you start to invest more time into it? Or is that something
I've always sort of...
Yeah.
Ever since I picked it up, I've sort of always been flat out about it. Like, you know, I suppose... You know, playing the bigger shows now, not that we fucking play anything substantial, but playing, you know, bigger shows than Camden Bolo.
Yeah.
You know, get into the city, making a reasonable name for ourselves, I suppose.
I guess getting to that point though, of starting off in the city, do you remember that first performance?
I remember the first gig. We didn't think we were ready. And then we turned up to the record crate and half the fucking crowd was Camden. So we were just like, we sort of figured out that it's just another gig.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I suppose like at that point in time we're like, oh shit, like we're playing in Sydney, like holy shit man, we're all kids, which is probably true.
Because you were all under 18.
Yeah, significantly under 18. I think most of us was. I think Aiden was the only one that was 17.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we were all 16. Flynn was like 14.
14.
Yeah, 14. Something like that.
Okay, and then
Flynn still needed a babysitter.
Still does. Okay, so I guess getting to that point of, and then building up an audience, because I guess now you guys seeing people playing a show and seeing people that are singing your songs back to you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that first time?
The first time it happened was at Camden show.
Yeah.
I actually watched the video the other day. I think I stood there a bit shocked. Michael stood there a bit shocked, had his arm around me. I started playing it, and everybody started singing it back, and Michael sort of, his head fucking turns. All you hear is Aiden step back from the microphone and go, yeah! And I was like, So yeah, it was crazy, like, especially at like 16, like people singing songs back to you. 17, how old was I? I never know.
Do you think that even now you get that?
Yeah, still, like songs that we didn't think anybody, even Feel Your Lies, like that's not even out yet. People are singing it back, so it's cool.
Where do you see yourself going from here in terms of your own personal musicality? Not so much the Shang, but you as a musician, or you as a personality in some sort of ways. Where do you see you going in the next couple of years? Or who do you aspire to be?
I don't know. If you asked me like 6 months ago, I would have said Dylan Frost, but I don't know, it's what I do now.
Yeah, do you think that being you is more authentic and raw?
Yeah, well, like don't get famous off being someone else, sort of thing. Nobody cares if you're someone else. You just go see a cover band at the RSL if you want to do that.
Yeah, and I guess you're wanting to really... Are you...
Yeah, well...
You're really wanting to make this a full-time... And the longevity, and make sure that you have that. Where do you see musicians now and the current state of the music industry? What's your thoughts on longevity because of how disposable music is now?
Yeah, nah.
What's your thoughts on music and the music industry as a whole?
There'll never be another Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd or Oasis.
Do you think that's because of how the industry has changed?
Because there's so much more music now, so much more easily accessible. Like before, you'd have to go buy an album, something. You know, you go back to 1970 something. You'd have to go buy the whole Led Zeppelin album. Now you can just pay $13 on Spotify, and you've got access to fucking hundreds of thousands of fucking songs.
Do you think there's a point to albums now, or do you think...
I think people that listen to music for more than just background noise, car noise, sort of... I think there is. I think anybody that sort of appreciates music in a way that's a little bit more than just... It's just there. I think there is. I think if you care enough about it, there's a reason for albums, EPs...
And are you self-aware of this when you're writing?
In a way, I just don't really give a shit. It's if you listen to it, you listen to it. If you don't, you don't. It's there. And, I mean, ideally, you want people to listen to it, but
yeah,
if they're only going to listen to 1 out of the 5 songs. It's still one song they're listening to.
This is another conversation that I had with Jake, and I think even Manning, of going, do you want to give the audience the complete and finished story, or would you rather keep something open and let them put their own intentions on it? Or
I mean, I'm a bit half-half in that respect. I like to sort of guide them down the path where it's going, but I mean, I don't want to tell them what to think. Like if something relates to them, like Kiki obviously resonated with a few people. There's a little bit of a prominent sort of drug thing out Western Sydney way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to tell them it's about this person and, you know, that's all it's about. Like, if
it connects on their own.
Yeah, if it's stories pretty much along the same lines of someone they know or something. Yeah.
Perfect.
Take it.
I think that wraps us up.
Sick.